welcome. So good to be here again to talk to you about the three principles. So, hello, please do let me know where you are in the world. I love to know where people are in the world, and I love to know, the place you're coming from, know something about it, but definitely to know where you are in the world. So, let me know where you are. I'm in Leeds in the UK at the moment. I'm not always in Leeds, but I am. This is where my actual house is. But I spend a lot of time pottering around in my motorhome, and at the moment I'm at home. But I will be off in the motorhome again this weekend. I spend a lot of time there. I'm just getting my own profile up here so I can tell you about the kind of things that I've got going on, and you can find out a little bit more about me. Oh, you are from London, the UK, but you live in Quito, in Ecuador. Wow, that is really cool. I guess it's quite warm there. Of course, we're going to talk about the weather because I'm in England, so I'm sure, Catherine, you can remember the weather and how flipping, I don't know, how scandalous it can be. It's not scandalous, it's just so wet at the moment. It's actually had 2 dry days, so I shouldn't really say anything. In Andalusia, which is a beautiful name, and I hope I'm saying it right. Hello from the high desert of southern Colorado in the Rocky Mountains. I bet you've got some serious views there, haven't you? That sounds absolutely wonderful. Hello from there. Welcome. Let me know what's brought you here today. That would be good to hear. And let me know if you've been here before, if you're a new person. I hope when you finish this session, you'll feel like a new person. That'd be marvellous, wouldn't it? But let me know if you're new to me and you're new to what I share here, which is the 3 principles understanding. Let me know if you've heard of the 3 principles. Hello, Tina from Nevada, and you're new. Fantastic. It's good to have some new people here. I'm just trying to get my Remarkable to boot up, but it's viewing. It's refusing. Hello, Tanya. Newton Insight Timer live. Do you know what's really funny? I've done a lot of lives on here, but I only attended my first one yesterday. I hadn't ever been to one myself, but I've started to explore some of the other teachers on here, and I went to one yesterday for a bit, and I went to one around just after lunchtime, and it's great fun actually doing it, seeing it from the other side of the platform. I haven't actually seen it before. So, hello, Catherine. You were in menopause without HRT. Fantastic. Well, we should hop on a call, Catherine, because I am reading a fantastic book at the moment called Very Well, and it is very, very. It's a 3 principles book by a lady called Hannah Studley, and she is writing all about hormones, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I think you will love the 3 principles if you're really looking towards helping women reduce stress and anxiety. So I think you'll find this interesting, the 3 principles. Very different perspective, perhaps, from other things. Let me know if you've come across the 3 principles before as well. Your first time, and you're seeking calm. Oh, sweetheart, in Louisa. Yeah, I was too for a long time, but it turns out that that the seeking of it is actually the problem, because it isn't anywhere but in here. And so what we do is we end up doing an awful lot of strategies and tools and techniques, don't we, to try and get ourselves to be calm. All the time, the calm is inside us going, I'm here. Can't you see me? I'm here. It's like the most important thing is hidden right in front of us, right inside us, and we can't see it because we're thinking about it and looking for it out there, and of course that we're not seeing it because we're looking in the wrong direction. So I'm going to point you in the right direction today, which I hope you'll find helpful. So I know a lot about stress and anxiety because I burnt out. I got so stressed to the point that I went into work one day and couldn't face it, walked out and never went back. I was a primary school head teacher in the UK at that point. Oh, Katie on her way is from Houston. She's in stress and traffic. Yeah, but you're on your way back from your vacation, wondering how to keep the calm. The calm of the vacation. Well, the first thing to know is that the calm isn't in the vacation, it's in you. So, despite you being in a lot of traffic, which I know is not fun, I totally can relate to that, and that appearing to be deleting your calm from your holiday, what I would love you to know is that is inside you. And it's not out there in the world, and it's not in a holiday, and it can be there in traffic. I'm experiencing that a lot of the time now. I just kind of go, well, I'm here, so that's that, really. Not much I can do about it. So when I walked out of work, I was very, very stressed. But if you'd have said to me the day before, Claire, you're very stressed, everybody would have laughed in your face and said, you're a lunatic. There's nothing wrong with me. Because I didn't know at all that I was stressed. I had no sense of it. I didn't understand anything about stress. But I now see I was wired to the hilt at that time. And therefore I was having a pretty awful experience and burnt out. And I didn't work for a year, because that's unfortunately can be the consequence of burnout. It really does wipe you out on a different level. It's not being tired. It's not, a bit of something. It's pretty unpleasant, and I had a terrible experience. But I kind of pulled myself back together in the end and started my own business, my first business, which was as a hypnotherapist. I'm not a hypnotherapist now, because having been on quite a journey of seeking calm, so in a Louisa, I can totally relate to this looking for calm. I was looking for motivation, but I wanted to kind of have this nice experience of life where I was just motivated all the time, like you're probably wanting to feel calm all the time. And so I looked outside of me for the answers, and I did a lot of things, self-development, and I did counselling, and I did inner child work, and blah blah blah. I did an awful lot of stuff, and in the end became quite obsessed with trying to fix myself, and it was very tiring, and it took a lot of time. Like, I'm going to tell you, 10 hours a week, I could have run an entire side hustle business and made loads of money in that 10 hours if I'd spent it doing that. But I didn't. I spent it fixing me. And then I came across this 3 principles understanding in January 2020, and it changed my life. And I can honestly say I do not do any things like try to control stress, or do any self-development, or do any tools and techniques. I don't do any journaling, and I don't do any stuff to try and fix myself anymore. It's finished, it's done. And I might do some stuff for funsies. I listen to the odd meditation because I like it, but not because I think I need to. Very big difference. And that means I've got a lot more time, a lot more freedom, and I feel the best I've probably ever felt in my whole life. Life is so much nicer. It's so much more full of ease. And that's what I want for every single person who's here today. And I want that for anybody who I can possibly teach this understanding to. And that's where the energy of any donations you make today go. They go to support me to teach on this platform, to share this understanding with as many people as possible, and to help as many people as possible to be powered by calm. That's our title today. Our title today is Powered by Calm. I mean, can you imagine your life if you were powered by calm? Not by busyness, not by stress, not by anxiety, not by overwhelm, but powered by calm. Can you imagine a world where you could create the life of your dreams, the business of your dreams, the relationships of your dreams, the everything that you've ever dreamed of, but all of that from a place of calm? The world out there seems to be telling us we've got to be stressed off our heads, running around like lunatics, super busy, super, wired all the time in order to create in the world, in order to have those traditional things that we might call success. But in actual fact, it doesn't have to be that way. You can be powered by calm and have a lovely life too, and create the things you want to create in the world. And that's what I'm on a mission to help people do. So this month we've really been exploring productivity, and so today's session, which is about being powered by calm, is linked to this work I've been doing this month about being powered by calm, about being productive from a calm place, about being productive from a 3 principles perspective. We've talked about things like motivation and creativity and innovation and all sorts of different topics. And there's a few more topics to come over the next few days. Of course, July finishes on Monday, but I probably will start our relationship unit on Monday because I like Mondays as a starting point. I mean, I don't have to explain myself, do I? Really. So we'll start looking at relationships on Monday. If you're interested in learning more about this understanding, I've got 3 courses now on Insight Timer, and on a window open behind here, I'm building course number 4, which is called Creating Harmonious Connections. CHC, quite like it. And that'll be out hopefully in the next week or so. My lighting is not good. It keeps going dark and light again. If anybody can recommend one of those circle lights, what they call ring light, circle light, a ring light, yeah, a ring light. If anybody can recommend a ring light to me that they really think is brilliant, please do let me know, message me somewhere. So the 3 courses I've got: Calm, Balance and Clarity with Ease, Revealing Your Full Potential with the 3 Principles, and Stress to Success, a 3 Principles approach to effortless productivity. So those are available on my profile. Please do follow me if you don't already, and then you get to find out about everything I'm doing, new courses, lives, free tracks, etc. So let's talk about the opposite of being powered by calm. It really does look like we're supposed to be busy, doesn't it? And that the world is just a stressful place. Let me know in the comments if you feel like that. If you feel like the message out there is saying that life is stressful. In fact, I've heard it said, I know the world out there is saying that. But also, I used to spend quite a lot of time on LinkedIn, not so much now, spend more time here. It's much nicer. And on LinkedIn, there's so many posts saying, running a business is stressful, this kind of job is stressful, that kind of job is stressful, these careers are stressful. And we're buying into this lie. I'm going to say it. We're being encouraged to buy into the idea that life has to be stressful. And that stress at all comes from the outside world. Doesn't come from the outside world. Stress is internally generated. That feeling we have that, our heart is pounding, we're feeling wound up, we're feeling wired, we can't sleep, all of those things. It's created by our perspective on our life, on what's happening, not by the thing itself. The world out there cannot create that feeling in your body. But of course, it really does look true that that's the case. Not least because we are told it is, and also because when it's happening to us, it really does look that if that thing just changed, if I had less of this and more of that, and that person behaved differently, I could feel better. And that's the cleverness of an illusion that's created by thought. Well, it's created by thought, consciousness, and universal intelligence or universal mind, which are the 3 principles. And it's very convincing when you are in a situation and you feel terrible. It really does look like it's that situation that's creating the problem. And that's because thought is an extremely powerful force in the universe. And we can know that just by looking at the world around us. I went to a networking event yesterday where I met with other business owners and we went for a walk around the park and we networked and chatted at the same time. And I got chatting to a man at the end of the meeting. We had a coffee and I got chatting to him. We were talking about AI. And, excuse me, it's amazing, isn't it? It's really, really clever. And I've just received an email just before I came on here from a lady who runs a kind of, she runs an AI business club, helping business owners to get savvy at using AI. And she sent me an email to say that ChatGPT can now be programmed, or you can teach it about your business, teach it all about your business, let it know everything about your business, so that when you say, can you write me a marketing post about such and such, it knows about your business and it can keep that knowledge and then work with you more easily. So it does become like a member of staff because it can do so much. So the human mind, the human thoughts have this potential to create so much. So it's no wonder that power can fool us. No wonder at all. So here's the first thing that is super useful to know. It is that the world works inside out. And so that means for those people who were already talking about, in Louisa talking about seeking calm, we've got Katie talking about feeling like she was calm on holiday, and then it's all just disappearing because now she's not on holiday anymore, and she's in traffic, and it looks like her feelings of well-being that she gained from being on holiday are all being bashed out. They're all disappearing. That's not really how it works. That's not really how our experience is created. But it's created via our perspective. So two people could be sat in exactly the same traffic next to each other, or one behind the other in cars, with the same situation. So same number of children, for example, in the car, same smelly wet dog, whatever it is that's in your car with you, doesn't really matter. And they could be having two completely different experiences. One person might be super chilled and calm and not really bothered, and just like, oh well, I was sat here in the traffic, what the heck, doesn't matter, put the radio on, chat to the kids, whatever. And the other person could be super stressed out, angry, upset, frustrated, feels like their holiday calm is slipping away, but they're in the same situation. What's the difference? How one person is thinking about it is different to how the other person is thinking about it. Now, what this is not is a change your thinking strategy. It's no tools, no techniques, nothing for you to do. It is an understanding of how things work. That's the difference. So let me know in the comments if you've tried things to try and change your thinking and your feelings, and how helpful long term you have found those to be. Now, in the moment, yes, there are some of these tools that will change our thinking. If you noticed how you have to keep doing them, like forever, like I did all sorts of things like affirmations and gratitude journals and tapping exercises and goodness knows what else, to try and change my thinking, to try and have different thinking and different feelings. And you have to keep doing them, over and over and over again. And I don't think that's a fun way to spend my life, so I don't really do that anymore. So we're not looking towards changing thoughts and feelings. We're looking towards what's true about where our feelings are coming from. And that's the transformative piece. Because the person who's sitting in the car having a terrible time, feeling stressed out, feeling upset, if they have different thinking, if they realise that they're caught up in some unpleasant thinking, they can then almost see a chink of light and choose to get off that train of thought. So this is one of my favourite things to do. And I don't know if Peace is here today. Sometimes somebody called Peace is here and she tells me off for hitting myself on the head with a ruler. But it's like this. but not quite like this. But, if I'm doing this, hitting myself on the head with a ruler, and I'm saying to you, I've got a terrible headache and I can't get rid of it, and I'm drinking loads of water and I'm having fresh air and blah, blah. I'm really trying to help myself here so that I can get rid of this headache. But I still can't get rid of the headache. And you say to me, well, you might want to just stop hitting yourself on the head with a ruler. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm hitting myself on the head with a ruler. I haven't noticed I'm doing that. I will stop doing that. So what I'm here to do is to teach you and to help raise your awareness so you can see when you're hitting yourself on the head with the ruler. You're not, but to help you see, to help that person who's sitting in that car getting upset and stressed and not, feeling like their holidays, the holiday memory's gone, to see what kind of thinking they're engaged with, not in fine detail, but to see that there's a train of thought there. And they're on that train of thought while sitting in the car. That sounds really complicated, doesn't it? But they're on a train of thought. And it's a train of thought that's creating the stress. It's not where they are. It's not what's happening. It's the train of thought. And what I see this understanding helping us to do is to see this chink of light and get off that train of thought. So when you're driving along on a train, you're not driving the train. When you're on a train and it's hurtling along and it comes into the platform, and the guard gets out, checks that the train is on the platform okay, and then they get back in and they turn that key, and then all the little lights down the train light up and it says open, and that, then you can press the button and you can get off the train. I'm going to show you I'm going to help you to see that button so that you can get off the train when you're in a really uncomfortable train of thought that's taking you down into a really terrible place. And get off the train and, do what makes sense to help you do that. Because there is a choice point, but we need to understand where the suffering is coming from before we can make the choice. If we think the suffering is coming from traffic, if we think the suffering is coming from busyness, if we think the suffering is coming from the behaviour of our children or our other half or our boss or other business owners or clients or whatever, then that's really disempowering, isn't it? Because it looks like, well, we're going to have to get those people to change, get that thing to change, get the circumstances to change. That can mean reducing our life down smaller and smaller, or it can just be it can just mean being a control freak like I was, trying to control everything out there. And we can end up just very busy like I was, and like why I burnt out really was exactly for that reason, trying to control the outside world to make myself feel better. But when we realise it's our train of thought, suddenly we have choice. Suddenly we have this, I like to call it a window of choice rather than a window of control, but there's just this space where we can go, oh, my state of mind's gone, ugh. I can get off though. I don't have to stay on this state of mind. I don't have to stay on this crazy train. I can just get off and be done with it. You can stop. You can stop the train of thought. You can get off it and you can do something else. You can have a different thought. You're just one thought away. You're one thought away from calm all the time. And I know you've seen that. Now, when it comes to productivity, there is, again, a sense that a certain task or a certain thing that we have to do or a new idea is creating our feelings. And so we don't do that thing, we avoid it. So how this then impacts on our productivity is that we're ruled by our feelings, which are coming from our thinking, which is generally, if it's creating a horrible feeling, well, always, if it's creating a horrible feeling, untrustworthy. So when you have an uncomfortable feeling, you have dodgy thinking, untrustworthy thinking, and thinking that's going to lead you on a path that is not taking you to reveal your full potential, to step into the life you really want to create, to be powered by calm. That's not what's going to happen while ever you are in that place. I've completely lost my train of thought. Did anybody notice? Totally lost my. So when it comes to productivity, our feelings are really important. So here's a few things that might be helpful. If you are feeling off about a task, my favourite task to feel off about is bookkeeping. Anybody else find bookkeeping an absolute pain in the... Any bookkeepers in the room who love bookkeeping? Come on, let me know. How do I make it a thing of joy? But that's my thing. I'll avoid it. So you notice there's a task, like bookkeeping, that you're either feeling upset about or anxious about or off about, or you're just not doing it, you're just avoiding it. That's not letting you know there's a problem with the task. It's letting you know that you've got some thinking about that task. Oh, Catherine, did you love it? Did you love being a bookkeeper, Catherine, for 20 years? You must have liked it a reasonable amount. She did it for 20 years. You're not one anymore, but did you like it, though? Did you like being a bookkeeper? Let me know whether you liked it at the time. But for me, that's one of them. We've all got a thing, haven't we? Now, my bookkeeping will get done. Yeah, you liked working with yourself and helping small businesses. That's nice. I like that. My bookkeeping will get done. It'll get done in time for the tax return. It'll all be fine. It'll all work out. I will do it. Don't worry, folks. I'm not going to get the tax man chasing after me. It'll all be fine. But in your business or in your life, it could be something that is more important than that. Sorry, tax people, if you think bookkeeping is important, but it does need to get done. But it's not impacting on my ability to grow my business. It's not taking me away from doing tasks that are important in my life. I have some of those that are like that. But it can really hold us back, can't it? And what's holding us back is thinking that the feeling is telling us something about the task. But the feeling is telling you something about your thinking about the task. Not the same thing. Can you hear the difference? So Tina, you say exercise is important, but I just can't get it done. So this is where you can bring some awareness to this, Tina. This is just about awareness. Think about how you're feeling about exercise. Think about the next thing, which is, do we think we have to feel a certain way to do things? I absolutely thought I had to feel a certain way to do things, and that feeling, I invented a name for it, and the name was motivation. You've probably heard of that. You've probably talked about it yourself. There's no such flipping thing, quite frankly. Because this is what I thought it was supposed to work like. That I would do all my morning rituals and routines, Tony Robbins style, get myself in the right state, like you do. Doing the miracle morning and getting myself psyched up for the day. And I had to do all of that. And then, if I was lucky, on a good day with the following wind, a beam of light called motivation would come down from heaven and touch me on the head, and I'd go do a thing. I'd do some things. And I remember being in the kitchen one morning. I was listening to a really good book. I can't remember which book it was now. And the man on the book said, it was a 3 Principles book. He said, what makes you think you have to feel a certain way to do things? And I went, what do you mean? Well, I didn't talk to him because he wasn't there. But in my head, I said, what does he mean? I don't have to feel a certain way to do things. Surely that's not true. No, I do. I have to feel motivated. And of course, I'd spend a lot of time looking for that feeling of motivation. Well, it doesn't exist. Catherine says motivation is overrated. Motivation doesn't exist. You're either doing a thing or you're not. Practically, physically, in the new world, in the world of form, you're either doing a thing or you're not doing a thing. What makes us think we have to feel a certain way to do things. That's a lie. Have you noticed how sometimes you don't feel like things and you do them anyway? Your thoughts and therefore your feelings have nothing to do with your ability to do things. I don't feel motivated to raise my arm right now, but look, it's moving. I didn't have to. It's like I didn't have to have a feeling to go like this. I don't have a feeling. I don't have to have a feeling I want to stand up from this chair. Oh, woot! I love that. It has to be aligned or don't do it is a trap. It is an absolute trap. I've got to feel aligned. I've got to feel wonderful before I do the thing. Goodness gracious, that is a dangerous, dangerous thing to believe because it has us stationary while we wait for the feeling to come. So another example for me was, of not being powered by calm was when I was creating my Constant Calm coaching program, which is not on Insight Time and it's something off Insight Time, but I was creating it and I had this document. It wasn't called, had it called something else at that time. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Revitalize when I first created it. Anyway, I had this document and it needed some work on it. I had to really sit down and I was waiting for inspiration to come. Waiting for inspiration to come. I don't know where I thought the inspiration was going to come from. I don't know where I thought this feeling of inspiration was going to come from because that feeling of inspiration is inside of me anyway. So I had a lot of thinking about even opening the document. I haven't really got the inspiration, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't for a while. And then one day I just thought, what am I waiting for? Because I kind of had this insight. Well, what am I waiting for? Why don't I just open the document? So open the document. That's step one, isn't it? We only ever need to do step one. Somebody on here the other week, I think it was last week, said, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Don't wait till you feel okay. Just have a bite. And then, you're full of elephant. And I don't eat meat at all, let alone elephant. But you feel, you feel a bit full. And then the next day you can eat a bit more elephant. You don't need to eat all at once. So the first step for me with that document was opening it. Opened the document. Then started reading it. And I went, oh, that bit there doesn't really fit. I'm going to move that to lesson 3 or lesson 4 or whatever. And I started to move things around. And before I knew it, I'd completed the program and I was ready to record it. And the same then, the recording of it, one lesson at a time, one step at a time, not waiting to feel a certain way. It's insane, really, when we think about it, that we think we've got to move your body, that you have to feel a certain way to do that. Why are we waiting for a feeling which is a reflection of our dodgy thinking? We don't need to feel a certain way to do things. So, that's a good question. So there's no divine aligned way to take action then. Where's the line distinction here? So let me explain that to you, actually, because I do have, hopefully, a helpful explanation about that. So this is what happens, I think, in a human being. Inspiration. Let's call it that way. We'll call it inspiration. There's an inspiration to do something in the world. That comes with a beautiful feeling. That's divine and aligned and is coming from universal energy or universal mind, whatever you want to call it. It's got that aliveness to it. It's got like a tingle to it, hasn't it? You can feel it. It's like somebody once said to me, it's like you recognize it like a mother recognizes a baby's cry, whatever mother animal and baby animal that is. You see a field full of sheep, and those two sheep, the mum and the baby, just know each other, don't they, by the sound. And that is how that feels when it comes inside you. It comes alive. There's an aliveness to it, and it feels good. Now, the issue then is our thinking. So the beautiful idea is ready to be born, and then our thinking comes in and it goes, well, that's not a very good idea. That's not going to work, and you're going to look stupid, and people are going to judge you, and blah, 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 blah. The feeling we then have, we think is about this new exciting idea. It's not. It's because we've now got some rubbishy old habitual thinking about that idea. Because in the past, somebody told us our painting wasn't good enough and didn't put it on the fridge, for example. So now, our new lovely ideas come with all this, like ugly, horrible thinking, and then we feel stuck, we feel anxious, and we don't do the thing. Not because that thing isn't alive, not because that thing isn't ready to come into the world, but because our thinking dictates to us then what we do. So I hope that makes sense, Woots, that we all have this beautiful energy within us, this beautiful intuition, this beautiful alignment with universal energy, with the divine. I love the word divine, it's beautiful. A divine, aligned way to take action. We got to watch out for that thinking. But the clue is in the feeling. The feeling is always letting us know, the uncomfortable feeling is going to let us know. State of mind issue, dodgy thinking that tells you not to follow something that's in your heart. And who hasn't expected? Anybody here had an idea and then not done it because their thinking said no and their feelings said no? Everybody should be putting their hand up, because I know there's not one person in this room who hasn't experienced that, who hasn't experienced this sense of feeling alive with something and then it being squashed down by our thinking. So I hope that's it. Yeah, it can feel like anxiety, Mary, absolutely. So I see we've got quite a lot more people, and I've just noticed I'm over halfway through, and normally do about an hour. And here, oh, hi Jeff, your hand is up. Thank you for admitting that, and thank you, Catherine and Tanya. I think have both got their hands up and waving. Are you waving and drowning, girls, or are you okay? You're just waving. So yeah, Suleiman, I love that. I didn't feel like going for a walk today, but I decided to take a walk anyway. And you probably felt amazing, because not only did you take a walk, which is lovely, isn't it, and refreshing and feels good, and our body likes it, but you stepped through the feeling, and out the other side of that is a slightly new version of you, someone who's seen the possibility. Because that's this thing about being powered by calm, is that we start to see the possibility of ourselves. Oh my goodness, I can go for a walk even when I don't feel like it. So what else could I do when I don't feel like it? So it starts to open up a space, like a space within us, where we can start to make those moves and be powered more by calm. I've missed loads of comments, sorry about that, because I got in the throes. Yes, Catherine, I love movement too. I'd say I can be perfectly fine mentally without doing any movement at all. It's great fun, it's enjoyable, I like it, but I don't think that my mental well-being comes from anything in the outside world at all. I guess I was maybe what was I going to say then? Yeah, I was maybe very caught up in that at one point. Exercise can be seen as punishment. I think that's how I saw it at school. I never got into exercise until later on in school, when one day, I was at school in the 70s and 80s, but high school in the late 80s, we had an aerobics teacher came in, and I was like, oh my god, this is my thing. My thing is not hockey, my thing is not netball, my thing is not throwing a bloody javelin or running around a racetrack or doing cross country, but I like this lady, she's teaching me to dance, and I quite like that, so that was good. No one has motivation every day. Thank you, Catherine, that's 2. Inna Louisa, you are new to the 3 principles. Well, this is the place to learn about it. So if you are new to the 3 principles and you never come across it before, it's the most life-changing thing I've ever learned in my life. And it is just a learning. It's just something to learn. The deeper you learn it, the deeper you get involved in it, the more of your excuse my friend, I'm going to say rubbish. I was going to say something else. The more of that rubbish in your head that's holding you back falls away. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to do any tools and techniques. You don't have to try and fix yourself. You don't have to do daily journaling or any activity at all. It's the most subtractive system and understanding in terms of having a nicer life. I really recommend learning about it. Please learn through me. If you are enjoying the way I'm delivering this today, I've got loads of free tracks. Three courses and number 4 about to be born into the world. So, join me on some of those courses. They're a great place to have a chat with me as well, because there's a nice little messaging space, and I can do a little audio message back, and reach out to the link. There's a link in my bio as well. You can find out more about me, and do reach out if this is something that you're going, whoa, hang on a minute, this is a bit of a different way of talking about things. The 3 principles contains no tools, no techniques, no anything. You don't have to do anything. All I have done is done courses and communication, I call it, but not courses always. Just listening to podcasts and people talking about it. And I've had conversations with people about the 3 principles. I talk about it a lot myself, so I get grounded more and more and more every day. I stay in the conversation. And that's all there is. And Sue's right. There's loads of information about the 3 principles out there. So, Catherine, you asked, am I referring to a form of self-discipline? No, not really. What I'm referring to is when we see life differently, we can create a different experience. So when we see that thought in the moment is creating our experience, we automatically start to choose different thoughts. When I see that a feeling is coming from my dodgy thinking, I tend to ignore it more. So I would say it's becoming, for me, it's about having a different relationship with thinking and feelings and therefore behavior, rather than trying to change them. I never feel like I'm disciplining myself at all. But because I see my feelings in a different way, I do push through them more easily. Because I just kind of go, oh, just a feeling coming from my thinking, I'll crack on then. Not all the time. Trust me, I'm not some superwoman. But more and more of the time, I notice there's something created inside me, some kind of off feeling. And I just tend to just go, oh, well, I'm carrying on regardless. I've created an Insight Timer course over the past few days, and there's been some times where I've just been like, oh, and I just sat at my desk and got on with it, because I know that feeling isn't really telling me anything about my ability to do the task, or my whether I'm in the right place to do the task. It's not telling me any of that. It's just telling me that right now I'd rather do something else. My thinking's saying, go do something else, or don't do anything at all. Procrastinate in some way. But yeah, so I guess what I would say, Catherine, is it's not a form of self-discipline, but I think I do feel more self-disciplined as a result of this understanding. I'm finding myself getting stuff done, not all the time, but more so than I did. And when I was on my self-development hamster wheel that I was stuck on for a very long time, my main focus was motivation and productivity, which is why I'm really enjoying exploring that this month. So if you're finding this interesting, you might find my course, Stress to Success, a 3 principles approach to effortless productivity, interesting too, and that's available on my profile. And you can check that out there, and there's another 2 courses there that you might find interesting too. And I'm also releasing lots of audios onto the platform at the moment, all about this same subject of productivity. And then next month we're going to explore relationships. So if you've got some tricky stuff going on there and you feel like the other people in the world are the problem, like I did for a very long time and still do when I get stirred up about something, then that'll be a great thing for you to join in with. So I can see lots of people who've turned up, and I'd love to know where you are in the world. I'm in Leeds in Yorkshire, in the north of England, about 200 miles north of, I'm dead on actually, 200 miles north of London. There is a road called the M1, the most important motorway in the UK, because it's the first motorway, the M1, and it goes from Leeds to London, because London's important, of course, it's the capital, but Leeds must be the next most important place because the M1 goes to Leeds. It's not going anywhere else. So Jeff, I love that. Jeff, I still want the other people to be the problem, no matter how untrue it is. Do you know what, Jeff? Me too. We should have a right good chat about that. We'd have a laugh about it. I think you've got a laugh about it, Jeff, haven't you? I hope you are laughing. Just saying that. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm just like, well, if they could just, like, I know it's my thinking about them, but if they could just stop it, then I could feel better. I totally get it. Good morning, Barbara from Northern California. Oh, I hope you've got, well, I think do you not always have pretty nice weather there? Drizzling here again. Surprise, surprise. Oh, hello, Violet. Violet's laughing. I love it when Violet laughs with me. I'd like to hear Violet's laugh actually someday. Yes, Suleiman, beautiful. Well, self-created rubbish barriers. Love the rubbish barriers. Self-created. I try to take the guilt. I mean, that's the other thing that's great about this understanding. No guilt. No, you're doing it. No, why have you not got better thinking? None of that. You've learned how to think from other people, all of whom were doing the best that they could, and you're now doing the best you can with the thinking you've got available. And when you see it, you see it, and when you don't, you don't. And I see this understanding that it's like I said, it's like we're on a train of thought. We're going, Jeff and I are on the train of thought where everybody else is the problem, and they just need to stop it, aren't we, Jeff? We're hurtling along. And this understanding just it brings the train to a halt, like a pause, and the light on the door lights up and we can get off. And we don't get off every time. Sometimes we're on that train, it's all gone all the way to Crazy Town. My train goes to Crazy Town on a regular basis, and we don't get off. But sometimes we do. And sometimes we manage that. We manage to get off the train. Excuse me. So, this idea of being powered by calm, let's explore that a little bit more, actually, because there's something else I definitely want to say to you today. And that is something I said quite near the beginning, but maybe not as fully as I could. And that is that we are powered by calm already. Jeff, choo choo. Oh, Jeff, you do make me laugh. So we are calm at our essence. That's not something, I said at the beginning, we had a couple of people who were talking about seeking calm or losing calm. When I say we can be powered by calm, I mean because you are already at your essence calm. You have already this innate capacity to be powered by calm. And the only thing that's in the way is that dodgy train of thought. That's the only thing in the way. And with this understanding, that's what we're going to let go of, or we're going to see. We're just going to see it. Because when you see it, you're not going to carry on, because it's a bit like doing that. Who's doing that? Who's doing that? Got a stone in your shoe? Going to remove it, are you? Of course you are. Trapping your fingers in a door, you're not going to carry on touching a hot hob. You're going to move your hand off it. We're going to stop creating suffering for ourselves, but we have to know where the suffering is coming from. And this understanding makes that clear to us, that it is our train of thought that's creating our horrible feelings, that's taking us on Crazy Town train with me and Jeff. We're on the train already. Come and join us. No, get off the train. And takes us on this journey into suffering. And that's what's stopping us being powered by calm. And earlier on, when who was it who said it? No. Was it Woot who said something profound? And I can't find it because the chat's moved on. There's a lot of it now, so I can't see it. When we were talking before about it was about an aligned divine way to take action. That's you at your core already. And on this exploration of productivity, I can't believe how many times I've pointed towards looking at small children. You go into a nursery. I mean, don't go into a nursery if you've not been invited. You should aim to bother. Just waltz into your local nursery. I just need to look at your children and see what they're doing. Don't do that, please, because you'll get into bother. But and don't be blaming me if you do that. But you only have to spend a small time with a group of small children. I was a primary school head teacher. So I got the privilege of spending a lot of time with little children between the ages of 3 and 11, particularly the younger ones. They are the most productive beings on the planet. You've never seen anything like it. You give them paper and pens and paint and clay and sand and box modelling, and that's like cereal boxes that you can make into things. Collage materials, bricks, wooden blocks, whatever. Give them all that stuff, and they'll not stop making stuff and doing stuff until they're pooped, and then they'll just kind of fall asleep. But that's the reality of what's inside us. And because nobody's telling them not to, they just do. They just keep doing. They don't, there's nothing in the way. Now, unfortunately, it's probably, quite early on in life like that we start to learn to get a bit icky about creating things and doing things because somebody says our thing we've done's a bit rubbish. We kind of learn it's not okay and our thing's not going to be good enough, and then we start to hold ourselves back and not do things as much. But that essence of who you are, that calm productivity, that calm way of being in the world is your natural state. That's the essence of who you are. And then your noisy head gets in the way. But it doesn't have to be that way. That essence of who you are is still there, like a diamond inside. I often talk about the diamond inside. There's a diamond inside you, and it's alive, and it's full of calm, and it's full of resilience and confidence and presence and all those things we go looking for outside of us. And you feel off. You don't feel like that because of the thinking. Oh, Tanya, thank you so much for being here. Have a lovely session with your client. Lucky person to get you to go and help them. Enjoy. Thank you so much. So, Sue, it's not really our thought, though, is it? Isn't it our thinking about our thoughts? So sometimes, yeah, but that's still your thinking. So it's our thinking about things out there that's definitely, if somebody else is behaving in a certain way, it's not my thinking about my thinking that's the issue. It's my thinking about their behavior that's creating this uncomfortable feeling in me. However, if, for example, we have, and then it's whether or not we believe it. Yeah, so there's like another layer there, you're right. So if we then believe our thinking about the other person and we get really engrossed in it, then of course we're going to feel terrible about the other person, or about the task, or about anything really. And for me, that's what I say about the 3 principles. The 3 principles is about changing our relationship with our thinking and feelings and behavior, not changing our thinking and feelings and behavior. Because that, it turns out, is near on impossible. And it may work temporarily for a little bit sometimes, but it doesn't really. It doesn't really work, because you have to keep going back, and you notice that you've got some tools and techniques. Perhaps you have to keep doing them again and again and again. I did gratitude journaling 5 years, maybe a bit longer, every single day, until after we came across the 3 principles, my fiance and I, because we learned it together. I remember we sat on the sofa one day, and I said, we were doing our gratitude journaling, and I said, why are we doing this? Like, it was a real question. And he said, I don't really know why we're doing it. And I said, shall we stop then? And he said, yeah, let's do that. So we stopped, and we never did it again. And I have never felt the urge to do a gratitude journal. There's a unit in my new course, a lesson in my new course on relationships, and that is about, it's about, there's a unit on gratitude, and the unit on gratitude is just about present moment. Actually, why are we trawling through our heads trying to find some past thing that happened? And I was thinking, I sat with my fiance writing gratitude journals. That was the moment to be grateful for, that we were sat together on the sofa doing something loving together and nice together. It was nice, but useless. Um, that was just like that was just so funny that we, we we were together, and that was the moment to be grateful for, not all the things we're trying to remember from the day. Our thinking is definitely based. Everything we think is based on the past. It's all created from the past. It's created from our past experiences, our past misunderstandings, things we have learned that are right and wrong. We can see perhaps a little glimmer of where we've learned some of that stuff from childhood, but I don't encourage going and getting caught up. But you're right, Jeff, because in the present moment, actually, well, if we're really in the present moment, there is no thought, because thought isn't present moment. But then, like thought, there'll be thought with a big T, the energy of thought, the energy of creation, the energy of intuition coming through us, the energy of innovation. Talked about innovation. Was that yesterday? I think I recorded a session about it this morning as well, because I'm trying to mirror the live sessions in my recordings, my like 15-minute little podcast things, because then people who are missing this can catch up. Although there is a link in my bio for my YouTube channel where these get recorded and put on there, so you can catch them later. So I've chatted away quite a long time, to my own face, which is the most surreal thing to do in the world, quite frankly, is sit here talking to yourself. But I know I'm talking to all you lovely people. So if you haven't already said hi, say hi. If you want to support me to spread this understanding far and wide, then I am super grateful if you are able to make any kind of donation today, no matter how small, because that helps me to show up here pretty consistently, to be fair, and share this understanding. I have a passion for as many people as possible to learn this understanding. It's been utterly life-changing for me, and the people I'm now working with. And I just feel so passionate that I want people to learn about it. So if you are able to support me financially today with a donation, then thank you very much for that. And thank you from Insight Time as well, because we're very lucky to have this wonderful space to hang out in together. So it's really great. I just love being on here. It's my favourite platform to be. I don't really do very much on any other platform now. A little bit on Instagram sometimes, and a tiny bit on LinkedIn, but not much. So has anybody got any questions? Has anybody got anything they want to ask about the 3 principles? Because that may be completely new to you. It's definitely something, like Sue said, there's so much information out there about 3 principles, and there's some beautiful teachers. I absolutely love them. But if you're ready for a conversation, if you're feeling like life's just not how you would like it to be, and you want to talk to somebody who can help you understand this understanding more deeply and provide you with lots of information, then please do reach out for me. I have a link in my bio where you can book a call and get my little freebie and stuff like that. So please do explore that if you want to. If you're new to 3 principles, you please do stay in the conversation. It really can be. It's something beyond self-development. I used to call it the antidote to self-development, but I quite like beyond self-development, really, because it's not about developing something that's already there. It's not about fixing your thinking with your thinking. It's about just understanding it, just seeing it differently. And it really is life-changing. So I've not got any questions, but I will let you know what else is coming up. I've got my profile up on my phone. So today is Tuesday the 25th. So thank you so much for being here for Powered by Calm today. Tomorrow we've got a 9:25 in the morning. Overcoming overwhelm with the 3 principles. Great topic. Really excited to talk about that, because overwhelm is something that I work a lot with. A lot of my clients come to me because they're feeling overwhelmed. And then 8:05 on Thursday, mastering focus. And we're going to have a look at that. But through that, we're going to look at distraction And I've been having some really interesting revelations about ADHD, which I'll be talking to on that mastering focus section, and that's about distraction as well. And on Friday, which is our last session on productivity, I'm going to start relationships on Monday. I haven't scheduled the sessions yet, but I will do later this week. Empowering resilience and self-compassion with 3 principles. Because I think when we're trying to be productive, it's really important to be compassionate towards ourselves, because we're not always going to be on it. And I think somebody said earlier, I can't remember who it was. It was Catherine who said, you can't be on it all. You can't be motivated all the time. You can't be on it all the time. But we are supposed to rest too. We are supposed to have downtime. We do fluctuate energetically. I'm not saying be a machine, but we do fluctuate energetically all the time. We go up and down. If you're a woman, I think there are some men in the room, but there's quite a lot of women too. Be aware that you have energetic cycles. There's a lovely book by Kate Northrup called Do Less. I'm going to relist that book actually, but she talks a lot about the energetic cycles of the moon and our 28-day cycle as women, as opposed to men who perhaps have a different energetic cycle, and how important it is to give ourselves permission to rest sometimes, because we are not on it all the time. So thank you so much for being here today, and please do hop over to my profile and follow me. That's the most important thing. If you are able to make a donation, thank you so much for doing that, because it does make a big difference to me in terms of turning up on here. And also there's something about an exchange of energy here, the giving of something and the receiving of something, or an energy exchange, which I quite like. I heard somebody say that on an Insight Time Alive earlier today, and I really like the idea of it being about an energetic exchange. So thank you so much. I do have a little group now, and the group is actually called Powered by Calm. So that's a really great, it aligns with this session today. So if you want to join me in the group, that's a great place as well to just ask me questions and share things, and also tell me what else you'd like me to talk about, because I'm open to suggestions. Thank you so much for all the love today. Thank you for this lovely connected space, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Ward. Thank you so much. And thank you for just found me and appreciate me sharing my wisdom. Thank you so much. What lovely words. That's really nice. I feel all tingly now. Thank you so much, everyone. I hopefully see some of you tomorrow. If not, I'll hopefully see you later in the week. Or join me on the course and let's have a little chat on there. Take care. Lots of love.